Hey Trajan, how's that man cave coming along?
Like it?
Where'd all your Steelers stuff go?
My wife won't let me have it till regular season.
Oh my God, we did it!
I don't want to hear it from a guy who's half his fan base is Swifties. Broncos country, let's cry.
Back to the Super Bowl.
Why'd they put the trash cans next to the Cowboys helmet?
You could take it and shove it up your face. What I really need to be hearing from you, though, is thank you.
Good afternoon, football fans, and welcome to the official first episode of the fourth season of the Trajan Temple Sportcast. I am your host, professional wrestler, and there it is, baby. Back-to-back Super Bowl champion, Kansas City Chiefs, fanatic Christian Temple, joined alongside, as always, by the newly renovated man cave and terrible towel-twirling Trajan. Full disclosure, this isn't the actual man cave. He is still working on his basement. It's still under construction. Hopefully, it's ready to go by the start of the regular season. We'll see how things turn out, how things shake out by the time that rolls around here too. But how you doing this fine day, my friend?
I'm doing good. We got rumors floating around to keep the off season alive, and we're just so close.
Absolutely. And the biggest one right now too, with a wide receiver potentially.
Knock on wood. Brandon Ayuk coming to the Steelers. Rumor is they want a wide receiver in return. I guess they had a deal with the Patriots, but Ayuk nixed it, so I don't know.
Boy, how times have changed, right?
Gosh, yeah. Any other day, it would have been going.
Oh, absolutely.
Now it's where wide receivers go to die.
Oh, god dang. Well, yes, that'll be something we're keeping a very close eye, especially Trajan, on for sure. But yes, football is unofficially back. I mean, these games are the games that, don't necessarily count. Obviously, they count for the players that are trying to make the 53-man roster, so every game matters, at least to them. But the Hall of Fame game is in the books. It was Chicago versus Houston. Not a whole lot to talk about there. We did get to see the new kickoff rule in effect. I mean, it looked pretty similar to how the XFL did too, and at least it's not just a guaranteed touchback. It wasn't the most exciting thing in the world, but I think when we finally see that first big return, or that first kickoff touchdown return, I think things will change. I think it'll make it look better.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's at the very least, it's keeping things interesting.
Especially with the added risk of if you kick it into the end zone, it's pushed to the 30-yard line. However, if it bounces into the end zone, then it goes to the 20. So a little extra bit of technique and maybe some strategy thrown into there too. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that plays out over the course of the regular season if they decide just not all of a sudden to veto it beforehand. But I don't think they will.
Yeah, now, bold prediction, I think we're going to see more kicks out of bounds with kickers trying to experiment.
Oh man, and it still goes to the 40-yard line if that happens too. So it'll be interesting. So, but one of the biggest things from the past Thursday night was the Hall of Fame class, and it was a pretty fun class for 2024. A lot of names that we recognize. Yeah. Especially considering that a lot of these players were playing during the time that we were fans, especially as kids and everything too. It's kind of weird seeing that now.
It's insane. I mean, I played Madden with these characters. Well, with these players. So
you would play against them as these characters too, so you knew who they were.
Yep. It's crazy.
And you'd see them against your favorite team, some once a year, sometimes twice a year, depending on where they were playing. But you know what? Every single member of this list, for sure deserves that spot. The impact that they've had for their teams and for the game of football. I mean, yeah, a lot of these were for sure a slam dunk for Hall of Famers. So I guess we'll start with going through the list really quick too. One of them, a long-time Indianapolis Colt, with Dwight Freeney. He was a fearsome pass rusher too during the Peyton Manning years.
Yep.
One of those that he had the disadvantage of being kind of a smaller guy. He wasn't the stereotypical big, rough and tough, in the trenches, defensive end, but he had a quickness that just was unmatched with any other team, and he made the most of it. He had 13 sacks in 2002 and 20 tackles for loss and 9 forced fumbles. I mean, that's Defensive Player of the Year numbers even in today's game.
Oh yeah, no, and I still remember going up against them with Big Ben, going towards the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember who even got the ball where he did the shoestring tackle, but I know he was in on that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's crazy.
Absolutely. Crazy. Well deserved on his part for sure. And then we go on down to Devin Hester, who was one of the most, if not the most, electrifying returners of all time. I mean, I'm kind of biased, obviously. The X Factor was my guy, Dante Hall. I mean, when he threw up the X, it was over for return teams, especially when he had I think it was 9 straight games for punt return / kickoff return touchdowns in 2002 to 2003. But Devin Hester, still the only guy to have a opening kickoff return for a touchdown in a Super Bowl. I mean, that alone is an amazing stat by itself.
Oh yeah, no, I remember watching that Super Bowl and like, okay, here we go. The Bears are gonna get this. But but yeah, he had some dark times with the Baltimore Ravens, but we won't mention that.
We won't mention that, right? So, yep, not a bad receiver in his own right. 255 receptions for 3,000 total yards and 16 touchdowns, at least receiving too. But yeah, he'll always be remembered as the guy that punters and kickers would do their darndest to avoid getting the ball to. He had that much respect from special teams coordinators throughout the years. Speaking of another one that huge respect to, the first Houston Texan to be selected for the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and rightfully so. I mean, when you have Matt Schaub and I've about said Derek Carr, David Carr as your quarterback, and you have this kind of a career, you're a very special receiver. That's Andre Johnson.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, yeah. I still remember playing Madden 2K, and not Madden, ESPN 2K on the PS2, and I'm playing versus him. He was a good player.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, it's like 3 seasons with 1,500 yards. I mean, how many receivers like in the past 5 years have done it more than once? You can't really count too many on more than
Not
one
a
hand,
lot.
honestly. Yeah. But 14-year career, it had at least 7 seasons with 1,000 receiving yards, and obviously 1,000+ receptions too. That's a heck of a career, especially in a team that, unfortunately, during his time, I don't think they won a playoff game in that entire time. I could be wrong. Maybe they did. Did they beat? They may have beat Cincinnati during his time there.
Who hasn't? But no, it just a great player on a team that just wasn't it. I mean, should have maybe forced his way out. Maybe the Texans love him because he stayed. I don't know.
He was loyal to a fault, I think so. But yes, definitely a hell of a career on him. It's a shame he didn't get a ring, but hey, you know what? He's got that gold jacket, which is pretty darn impressive in itself. Speaking of another impressive athlete, we got Julius Peppers, who had a fantastic career. And honestly, when you think of like players associated with teams, if I think Carolina Panthers, he's like the very first guy. I mean, that's just a no-brainer at this point.
Oh yeah, no, I mean he's right up there with Steve Smith and Cam Newton, but Julius Peppers, he was just such a force all those years.
Absolutely.
52 career forced fumbles. That's insane.
He had after he got the Defensive Rookie of the Year 2002, recorded 12 sacks, 5 forced fumbles, 1 interception in 12 games. And he's the only player to record 150 sacks and 10 interceptions, which apparently he took almost half of them to the house after intercepting. So that's his athleticism was insane. And absolutely well deserved. How many other Carolina Panthers? I think was it Kevin Green? I think it was the other one, but he was more
Steelers.
More Steelers, yeah. Or maybe was it Packers? Maybe some. I'm trying to think of who went to the Packers and then went to Carolina. Thought he might have made it too, but
I don't know.
It's gonna bother me now. I'll think of it later too. But yeah, it's but on that note, we go on to another great defensive player. We had Patrick Willis, who also won Defensive Rookie in the Year. He did that in 2007 with 174 tackles. Just imagine that. Your first year in the NFL, and you nearly get 200 tackles by yourself. Just welcome to the NFL, right?
Yep, and that was kind of the dark days for the 49ers there. He was really the only thing that was kind of going on until a little bit later. They got Smith going, and then Colin Kaepernick. But
well, he did at least make it to a Super Bowl, and he does have an NFC title under his belt too. So, and that was if there was any Super Bowl where the 49ers really should have won, man, that would have been hilarious, especially the fact that they made that comeback after the power went out too, and just close but not close enough, and the other Harbaugh brother ended up taking that one.
Yep, I remember being very torn in that Super Bowl.
Well, now we get to a player that neither of us grew up watching too, but as far as looking at his stats and his impact with the Orange Crush in the Denver Broncos, Randy Gradisher, just seeing everything that he has accomplished, especially with 2,000 tackles by the time he retired in '83. 19 and a half sacks, 20 interceptions, 13 fumble recoveries, and 4 defensive touchdowns. 1978, he won Defensive Player of the Year. I mean, those are Hall of Fame numbers, absolutely, without a doubt.
Oh yeah, and just the era he was doing it in. I mean, to have that longevity, it was tough back then to be a defensive player.
It's a whole different ball game back in there too, absolutely. So the fact that he had a 10-year career of 7 of which he made the Pro Bowl, I mean, that's just outstanding work on his behalf too. And unfortunately, it was during the time where the Broncos were, consistently towards the Super Bowl, but just could not get over the hump. It wouldn't be until in the late 90s that would finally happen. So just imagine all those years you come so close and then can't get it done. But yes, very well deserved from Randy Gradisher. And I'm really excited to talk about this last one. We got Steve Mongo McMichael, who was part of, obviously, the famous 85 Bears team. And, as much as he was famous for all of his sacks, his tackles, the forced fumbles, for the 15 seasons he's had, including in Chicago and for New England and Green Bay, he's almost as well known as being a professional wrestler, too.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's amazing what these players go on to do after their career, and some of them, I mean, how many NFL players is that?
I mean, there's a good handful, but at the same time, it's like he's one of the last players, I think, to win a Super Bowl and also win a mainstream pro wrestling championship, to the best of my knowledge here too. Now, back in the day, in like the 60s and 70s, it wasn't uncommon for pro football players to also be involved in pro wrestling. I mean, a couple of names that just come to mind right off the top of the hat. You got the Big Cat Ernie Ladd. You had Wahoo McDaniel, who played for the Jets and the Chargers back in the day. I mean, the money was not there for football as it is today. Yeah. So there was a long off season, so a lot of these players, had to have full-time jobs in between time. And for a lot of these bigger guys, pro wrestling was that outlet while they were in between football seasons. But yeah, Steve Mongo McMichael would go on to become one of the core wrestlers of the NWO, the Four Horsemen days in the 90s of World Championship Wrestling, aka WCW, including winning the WCW United States Heavyweight Championship in the past. He started off as a commentator, but yes, he had an actually a pretty successful wrestling career. And you know, it's funny, I was looking through his stats too. He actually did make an appearance in the World Wrestling Federation, now obviously the WWE, in 1995, where he was at ringside for Lawrence Taylor for his match against Bam Bam Bigelow at WrestleMania 11 in 1995. So I didn't even know that. I knew that Lawrence Taylor had that match with Bam Bam, and it was the main event of that year's WrestleMania. And actually, you know, Lawrence Taylor, fantastic player in his own right too. But boy, if he would have stuck with it, he could have been, you know, a fantastic pro wrestler in his own right. So it was a fun match going back and watching it not too long ago.
No, yeah. No, like you said, a lot of these things, I mean, we've heard of them. I mean, really, the only one we really hadn't really seen was Randy Gardner, or Gradisher, or whatever his name is.
Absolutely. But
all of these guys, we were kind of around for.
Mm-hmm. And it's a weird feeling now. Of course, we're both 30 now. We're not, we're not teenagers, not kids and all that too. So as the years go by, we're going to see more and more of these as the years go on. You know, and I'm looking forward to it. There's a lot of players that we grew up watching and, that deserve that honor. And, hats off to the gentlemen that we just mentioned here too. They definitely deserve it. And that is this year's Hall of Fame class, and we look forward to see who gets selected next year. But in the meantime, and the in-between time, it is now time to predict the divisional winners and the 3 wild card spots. So it's going to be fun because we're doing this before preseason really even starts. We're just going from the seat of our pants, which makes it more fun, and just to see and laugh at ourselves at how wrong we're going to be when the time comes, come playoff time in January. So, all right, without further ado, I guess I think it's only fair we start with the AFC this time. I think we did the NFC last year, so let's go ahead and go to the AFC. So here we go. AFC West, and I think I know where you're going to go with this too, so I'll just go ahead and knock mine out early. Obviously, for the 9th year in a row, it's going to be the Chiefs taking the AFC West. I think they loaded up in all the right places. Yes, they lost Snead, but they still got a very talented secondary. I don't know. I know the Broncos are, in hell right now. The Raiders, I think, will be competitive with that defense. It's going to be interesting to see what Gardner Minshew can do his first year with this team. And the Chargers, I mean, I'll give credit where it's due. Jim Harbaugh, I respect him as a head coach. But we already have an injury with Justin Herbert that's, they say he'll be ready by the regular season. We'll see how that goes. If that makes them take a step back, I got KC all the way this year once again.
See, you'd think that. You really would. But I've seen the future. The future is all powder blue and yellow. And it's going to be the Chargers.
All right, there we go.
Chargers are going to take the West. The Chiefs are going to falter this year. They're going to just be all on the hype. Just pure hype. And just get slaughtered by every team.
Alrighty. Well, two can play at that game, and this Mockingbird doesn't necessarily sing. Alright, we got the AFC North, and yes, we have a quarterback battle. You got Justin Fields. You got Russell Wilson. You got Brandon Ayuk now. Who knows if you lose George Pickens in this trade? I don't know. Whoever San Fran wants to take back. You got Pat Freiermuth. You got Najee Harris. You got this TJ Watt-led defense here, too. But I think there's another team that's eking for revenge, and I think they're going to take it this year. I've got the Ravens taking the AFC North. I think they got so close last year, and I think they're going to try to put all, especially with getting Derrick Henry too. I think Harbaugh has got something up his sleeve. I think the North goes to Baltimore.
See, you would think that, but once again, I saw the future. And Future's all black and gold. It's the Steelers, baby.
Stellar.
It's the Steelers division to lose.
Stellar's gone Super Bowl. I know how this is.
We had them in our grasp with Kenny Pickett as the quarterback. We can take it with a corpse of a Russell Wilson.
Well, I'm surprised you're not wearing that Kenny Pickett jersey that got you there too. Whatever happened with that?
You know, these things just go missing in this house. It's crazy.
But you found your Big Ben jersey, right? I imagine that's been found.
It's still there. It's still there. I'm wearing the Smokey the Bear because we're so hot.
I see how this is now. All right. Okie dokie. Well, now that we got that painfulness out of the man, we really should have saved that for last. That would have been a good cliffhanger. All right. You and I were briefly talking about this too, and man, oh man, is this going to be tough to call. We got the AFC East, and just my brief thoughts on it. Obviously, Patriots could be competitive this year. Don't see them taking this one. The Jets. Going to be interesting. Only because Aaron Rodgers is back. Or is he? Or is he? Is he back? And will he have the offense? I mean, he'll still have that defense. Will he have enough weapons on that offense? Will he be cohesive with oh gosh darn, what's his name? Hacker what was Steve Hacker or something or whatever?
Oh, I don't remember.
Yeah, whatever it is, that Broncos coach that failed.
Yeah.
Will he be good with him? Hack it. There we go. He couldn't hack it in Denver, so he's back with the Jets. And here's where I have trouble picking the Bills because they are just short of a rebuild. I mean, yes, they did go out and get MVS, who actually may not make the team. They lost Stephon Diggs. They lost Gabe Davis. They got, was it Keon Coleman? I think that was the receiver that they drafted.
I think so.
Because Leggett went to Carolina. Yeah, so their defense lost so many key pieces. I mean, Josh Allen's great. Is he good enough though? I honestly have a hard time, and you know it came close last year and they blew in last week. I have a hard time picking against the Dolphins in the AFC East this year. It's like part of me wants to go Bills. I think it's going to be Dolphins this year as long as they stay healthy.
See, you would think that. But I also think the same thing.
It's Miami. Yep. I mean, it's just so hard right now with like the Bills and all that. I think everyone said it. If it was any year, it should have been 2 years ago for the Bills. I mean, they didn't. They would have played the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game. That was probably the strongest team they had. They had the momentum with Damar Hamlin coming back, supporting the team and everything too. It seemed like it was just destiny for them. And then they hit a roadblock with the Bengals. And then this year, I mean, they had the Chiefs at their home stadium for the first time since 1993 in the playoffs.
They had it.
And once again, wide right happened, and it couldn't have happened at a worse time against a worse opponent. Because the Chiefs have had their number in the playoffs the last couple of years, and then it came down to that. Yep. I was just like, it just seems like something you just don't recover from, physically or emotionally.
It's gonna be tough. I don't know. I think this could be their coach's last year if he does not get it done.
And I like Sean McDermott. He's an Andy Reid. He's an Andy Reid disciple. I mean, he's a good coach and everything, but oh man. All right, so AFC South, which, sounds like it'd be an easy pick, but I mean, there could be some interesting twists and turns in there too. Although, I think we are. Although it'll be close, I think there will be a surprise. I think there will be a surprise that'll make it competitive. I'm going Texans on the AFC South. With what we saw with CJ Stroud, with the weapons that he did have with Tank Dell and Nico Collins, and now you've got Stephon Diggs to add to that. I mean,
I don't see how they do worse.
It's kind of hard to pick it.
Yeah, and I'm same way. Texans are going to get it.
Absolutely. Alrighty, now the fun part. We've got the 3 wildcard teams, which actually I'll name my 3, and then I'll let you name your 3. I'll name my 3, explain why, and then I'll let you do the same thing too. So wild card number 1, and obviously we're not going to talk about who we think is going to play who's going to get the first round bye and all that too. We may discuss that at a later time when we compare our predictions, our record predictions, with the USA Today prediction that just came out not too long ago. But as far as my wild card AFC teams, there's going to be some teams that will make, like I said, a good run at their division, but they'll be like 1 game short or something like that. And the first team that I think so will be obviously in the AFC North. I think the
Go ahead, say the Bengals.
I think the Cincinnati Bengals will have a bounce back year this year. Joe Burrow's healthy once again. They still got Jamar, they still got T. Higgins, even though they're saying they want paid and everything too. Unless they all of a sudden just get traded right at this last second here, maybe like Ayuk. I highly doubt it. So, but yep, I have the Bengals as wild card number 1. Wild card number 2, man, oh man, it's gonna be close. And like I said, I think just because Josh Allen is their quarterback, I think the Bills will find a way to sneak in as a wild card team in this one too. And then finally, my third wild card team is the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think that they have revamped, and if they do get Brandon Ayuk, I think they will. Boy, it's going to be hilarious if they're 8-9 and they break it. Not kidding. They'll probably match their 10-7 at least. And like I said, I just think the Ravens and Bengals will be just that much better. But every team in the AFC North, honestly, yes, and I am including the Browns, could have a winning record this year. I just don't think the Browns will have enough to make it in, and I think Pittsburgh will. So there you go. There's my 3 wild card teams. You're welcome, Trajan.
All right, so I'm not going to leave you hanging. Chiefs will get in at. This is going to be the fun thing. I think that all the wild card teams are going to be 9-8 this year.
Well, it's better than 6-11. I'll take
it. So I think the Chiefs. I mean, obvious reasons. Taylor Swift. But
Did you see that clip of someone superimposed Taylor Swift getting an interception against or reception against the Chargers and taking it all the way for a touchdown? That
getting out of hand.
That was awesome.
The next one, Bengals. I think Joe Burrow comes back in. He's healthy. I mean, he's still a dynamic player. They got some good wide receivers. They got a stout defense, so I think they can definitely be in the wild card. And the last one, this is crazy because of who I'm leaving out. I'm saying the Ravens.
I see.
No Bills.
And no Bills this time, which, like I said, I was kind of on the fence about too, and honestly, it would not surprise me if they do end up missing here too. Well. So, alrighty. Well, dang, that's... all the fun's gone now because we did the AFC now. Man, we should have done the NFC first. Should have done the NFC. All right, well, we'll try to make that a tradition.
Let's hype it up.
So, all righty. Well, I think NFC West is pretty obvious, at least for me. It's going to be 49ers again. Too easy on that. Even without Brandon Ayuk, it's their division to lose.
Yeah, definitely the 49ers.
All right, NFC North. I mean, who we kidding? Dan Campbell. Lions, it's all the way. I mean, let's face it. Jordan Love is close. I just think the Lions are finding their footing right now.
Yep, Lions as well.
Alrighty, and going to the East. Okay, so this one I actually have a little trouble with because I have a feeling the Eagles will be better this year than how they finished last year. Like on paper, last year they should have done better. Like, they shouldn't have been a wild card team, honestly. They should have been the ones that took the division over Dallas. But Dallas, at the same time, it is their all-in year. I mean, they're bringing everyone back. They even added Zeke and everything, too. So, man, it's a toss-up. I do think I give the advantage to the Cowboys, just a slight one more time.
Yep, and I am the Cowboys as well. I think they got a lot of playmakers. I think Dak has something to prove right now. Eagles, they weren't convincing at the end of the year. And that's what's tough for me. And then they lose Kelsey. Like, their heart and soul of that offensive line is gone now. So, I don't know. I think it's going to be Dallas. I am hopeful that the Eagles win, but...
at least they made the right move and got rid of Patricia.
Yes. I mean, they could have made the right move and not hired Patricia.
Right, exactly.
It's a subject for a different podcast.
Oh, there you go. All right, NFC South. And I'm going to have some fun with this one, actually, because I think we're about to see some Aaron Rodgers-esque pissed offness from Kirk Cousins. I'm going Falcons for the NFC South this year.
You want to know something? I forgot Kirk Cousins was on the Can't change my answer. No. Oh, gosh. I should. Oh, man. I want to change it right now.
Drum roll, please. Stick to your guns.
For the chance to get one up on you, I'm sticking with it. I'm saying Tampa.
Tampa Bay. All righty.
And they won it last year. Baker's feeling dangerous. They picked up some weapons. It could be them.
I like I said, Tampa Bay was up there for me too, but I just think Kirk Cousins is gonna go scorched earth this year. I mean, they went out and they got him, and then they drafted Michael Penix for some reason in the first round. But I think Kirk Cousins, I think he can gel with an offense like this. Especially with, get a guy like Kyle Pitts. I mean, look what he did with, a Mason Rudolph and a Hawkinson, or not TJ Hawkinson. Who was there? No, was it Hawkinson? Yeah, Hawkinson was a Viking, wasn't he?
Yeah, but why did you say Mason Rudolph?
I mean, who?
Ritter?
No. Who was the other tight end in Minnesota?
Oh, Rudolph.
Yeah. It was Kyle Rudolph, maybe what it would.
Kyle Rudolph, yeah.
Kyle Rudolph, that's right. Mason Rudolph. Did I open a wound there or something a little bit? Or
I thought you were just trying to get at me. Get under my skin.
All righty. Well, since I did my wild card teams first, the AFC, the floor is yours. Let's hear your 3 wild card teams for the NFC.
We are starting out with the Rams. Matt Stafford's going to stay healthy this year. Puka Nacua, Cooper Kupp. I think they just end up scoring more points. Eagles will be my next pick. Really, there's some teams that really dropped off in the NFC. It's very top heavy, I think. You got the Lions, you got the 49ers, you got Dallas, and then it drops off after that. And then my last one, I struggled with. I'm like, do I really want to put them here? And I did it just because they're kind of like the Steelers. They always have that legacy of winning. I'm saying the Green Bay Packers.
Green Bay Packers. All right. Well, that is definitely a solid a solid 3-team wild card lineup here too. And mine is not too terribly far off there too. So actually, my top one was the Packers. I think they'll be the closest to the Lions. Honestly, part of me thought, what if I just went full chaos theory and I threw the Bears in as a wild card team?
Oh, I
thought about it.
Williams, Keenan Allen, DJ Moore.
I'm thinking maybe next year. That's where I'm at with the Bears right now. Maybe next year. Number 2, I was with you with the Rams. As for all the reasons that you mentioned, Matt Stafford, Puka Nacua, Cooper Kupp. I mean, they had it was funny. It seemed like they were on pace for a mediocre season last year. And then Nacua just showed up and just was a world wrecker. I mean, you can imagine you got him and Cooper Kupp on the same team. And you've got Matt Stafford at quarterback. They honestly probably should have won more games. But still, it was still a solid year for them, all things considered, especially getting to the wild card round. And they gave the Lions their first playoff win in 30 years. But hey,
crazy.
They took their lumps from getting the Lions' longtime quarterback and winning a Super Bowl with them. So, and they actually had a first round pick this year.
That's true.
Crazy, right? Alrighty. So,
That's
I was also going on the Lions. Maybe the Eagles will show something this year. But I've got them on the outside looking in.
Ooh, who do you got?
I've got them on the outside looking in. So let's just break this down really quick here too. You know, we always thought that the NFC West was one of the better divisions in the NFC, right? You know, you had the Seahawks were competitive. You had the 49ers, the Rams, they're always up there. You know, the Cardinals, they had some shockers last year too. Then you go to the NFC North, and you've got, you know, the Lions, you know, pulling out too. Then you've got the Packers up there, and then the Bears, you know, they're reloading here too. Vikings, you know, I mean, yeah, they took kind of a step back there too, so I don't foresee them on that too. Then you go to the NFC South, and you think Tampa Bay. You think they won a playoff game last year. You think Baker Mayfield reviving his career. And I look at all those, and I think it's time to take command. Jalen Daniels is going to do what C.J. Stroud did last year. I've got the Commies.
Oh my God.
The Washington Commanders. That is my wild guess. I am throwing it all on them. Washington sneaking their way into the wild card right there. They're going to be right next to the Cowboys and all that. Jalen Daniels, I am all in with him, baby. The new ownership group, this is their bounce back year.
That's even crazier than me saying the Chargers are going to take the
I had a wild card, like I said. I thought about Tampa Bay sneaking in there too, but I was like, that's too predictable.
Wow.
That's too predictable. I'm going full on Commies. They're going to take command, and they're going to get into a wild card spot, and they're going to get bounced by the Lions in the first round.
Hey, I mean, just to be there. Just to be there.
I like what I'm seeing from Daniels, honestly. I think he'll be a good leader for him too. And like I said, we didn't see this coming with C.J. Stroud last year either. Truthfully, we did not see that coming. I want to say this is the year that the Commanders, they take that first step back in the right direction. Plus, don't they do this every 5 years or something like that too, where they have a decent season to sneak in? Exactly. I think it's about time for them too. So, yes, there you go. Chaos theory, baby.
Wow. Okay.
Oh man, I just can't believe I went through all that build up too and everything. So there's your shock and surprise to end the episode, folks. Hope that was worth the wait.
And the Commanders. All right, I'm saving that one for sure.
Absolutely. I've got it saved on my deal too, and it's going to be interesting when I come back this year and Jane Daniels got hurt and then they finished dead last in their division. If the Giants finished better than the Commanders, then oof, I messed up big time.
What if it's Giants as the East and Commies as the Wild?
So you're gonna say Daniel Jones finally earns his money?
Oh no!
God, alrighty. Well, that is our show today, ladies and gentlemen. Real quick, we'll go through. We got the Chiefs taking on the Jaguars Saturday night, Week 1 preseason game, and actually, it was just announced that the starters will play for the first quarter for the Chiefs. I figured they were going to wait till the second game.
Starters including Mahomes.
Starters including Mahomes. Yeah, they're gonna play for the first quarter. So hey, it's I suppose if you look at it this way, it's probably what would happen in the old preseason on like the second week. So if we're kind of looking at it like that, if we're calling this like the second week, then I guess I can see that. But if it's just for the first quarter, then it is what it is. But yep, they take on the Jaguars Saturday night, 6 o'clock. Who do the Steelers have on tap? Their first preseason game.
Well, first off, we can only hope for a turf monster. But second off, Houston. We are playing Houston, the Texans. This will be their second game under their belt. I really haven't heard. Tomlin, he kind of leans the same way with playing starters, so we'll see.
We will see. Well, luckily we're not playing in MetLife, so turf monster should hopefully not be an issue.
Hopefully.
That feels a crime against humanity, much more a crime against football. Alrighty. Well, thank you everybody so much for watching. Click like if you like this show. Click subscribe if you really enjoyed it. Please comment below. Give us your thoughts. Who do you predict is going to take their division? Who's going to make the wild card? We'd love to hear from you here too. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you all next week.